is the last conversation that we had in general about Kubera. It was about Whistling Part 2, right? With Vayu and his betrothed and how that came undone with Indra. I think that's the last thing we talked about. So I think we have 3 chapters or 3 side stories to go through, which would be first and second, Dawn of the Gods, and In My Delusions Part 1, I think. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I had that correctly. So I'm kind of going to jump all over the place. I'm probably not going to focus on any one chapter necessarily or go in order. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. But what I will say is, for like the next 3 weeks, you'll like on the Tuesday where you'd probably usually get the discussion. I have like topical videos for each of the chapters that will come out kind of instead. So just kind of bear with it a little bit. You're gonna have to kind of like wait, I guess, 3 weeks for like the discussions to reappear on the channel on the Tuesdays like they were before. So just give it some time. I took 3 weeks off. So, but yeah, no greater wisdom meows, no greater wisdom Chris Lamb, no Big in Tokyo, fake stream, Naya apparently still on break, this is an imposter. Big in Tokyo's gone, you know that, right? Like I don't have that intro here anymore. It's gone. The stream will now be blessed by Mr. Vincent Benitez, sir. This is a real stream. I don't know where my brothers are. They're lost in time right now. Glam is in the other side of the story. Uh, and Giles is he's traveling through time with a natter or something. They're busy. I'm in the present time right now. I'm here. You said you traitor? It's a new year, new opening. All right, it's new. I don't even have openings on the channel anymore. Like in general, like I know intros anymore. It's a new year, baby. They said QUC big girl. All right, say hi to YouTube. And let's talk about these chapters because they were all incredible. And can I ask you guys a question? Do you find that these side stories reveal more things in the main narrative? I'm not saying it's better than the main narrative or anything of the sort. The main narrative has a formula it has to kind of follow, like a structure it has to follow. So like we get sparing reveals here and there, but then another additive mystery, or we get like half answers and half truths, and like and these like side stories was like, here is how the universe started, here's how this relationship works, here's the literal answer for this thing. Like I find that we're getting like a lot of answers in the side stories. Is that just me? I hope I'm not late. One vote for Vayu, and then stop the count. Stop. We're not. You saw Usha's and Yama. I'm tired of this. I don't want to debate anymore. Yama's the GOAT. He's the greatest. Turned around to her and said, "Hey man, I'm not bored because of you." And then Usha smiled. Stop playing with me. Who's better? There's no one better. He's not. He's number one. He's number one. I think the stats have been bigger for lore drops. Okay, that's fair. I mean, we are getting Shiva here. I couldn't believe what I saw with my yo, bro. Did Shiva HAKAI? Um, what was the thing's master's name? Mana shit. I forgot. It's not Massivins. It's Mana something else. But like yo, HAKAI her. Manasa. Yo, I couldn't. Yo, Shiva's in the story. Stop playing with me, Kurika. He's in there. Let him do stuff. Let him be there more often. He said enough of this and erased her and like destroyed her in mind and body. I said, that is crazy. That's crazy. I think that was him though. We had Shiva got on Shiva. I knew about Vishnu, Nani, Shiva, Manasa. Wasn't it Shiva who did that? He said Hakai and fucking blew them apart. But okay. Let me try to like pinpoint something, and then we'll kind of jump off there. Limited existence, he different. It's so crazy. The side stories are greater than the alternative blog, SBS, etc., etc. Absolutely. Like if this is how you want to add like ancillary information to your narrative, this is the way to do it with these little side stories, you know. And I think on one of the chapters I heard she's finally actually taking a legitimate break, not even like these half breaks because she's been like low key working. So she's like, nah, I'm gonna chill out for a bit. And I am also excited to get back to the main story. I know In My Delusions, I think, are the last set of side stories. We have 2 more, and we should be back to the main narrative. Do we know already? If you guys know already, if we've already moved on back to Kubera and Kubera? Like I know Korea's ahead of us, so just you don't have to spoil anything for me. But are we back in the present time there, or what's going on with that? Let me know. I thought so. At least he destroyed body and soul has to be right. Of course, when I take a minor break, Shiva shows up. It's just crazy. It's so crazy. And also, I got Vritra greatness, right? The Vritra stuff was really cool too, in my opinion. So I really liked it. So they ahead. That's all I'll say. Okay, but man, all right, let's hop into the discussion. I'm gonna pull a chapter up here on my phone just so I can have it side by side because we all know that I have the worst memory of all time. I got old man brain. Also, I got ganja brain. I'll be smoking the Lord's kale, so my brain don't work so good. How do I make this bigger on my screen again? Forgot what I did. I click this. I'll make it line. I want it to go downwards. Height. No, that's wrong. Up the bottom. All. Okay, boom. Okay, let's start. Female Vritra or beta male Vritra. That's crazy. What did you guys think about the whole betrothal process of the person who actually enacts it could kind of break it when can break it kind of seemingly whenever they want? Because that was crazy to me. That was insane. I couldn't believe that. Oh, this is whistling. I'm on the wrong chapter. There we go. During the period of creation took place for quite a time. In this era, incompletion Asikas and Nasikas were existed as far more inexperienced than now. In particular, there were many the Nasikas who were mentally young and unable to handle power properly. And we saw different types of humans with different type of Nasikas, different type of skins, and different type of like whatever. So the very interesting thing that we get here is this story about love between the first and the seconds, right? So there's Kanara, and why am I forgetting their name? Because I usually see them in girl form. Was that Ravana? Ravana, right? What do you guys think about that chapter in general and first before I hop into anything specific? Because that was interesting to me. Because like I think I didn't get it at first that there was genuine love there. That Kanara just kind of followed along Vritra just walking around doing their own thing. Not Ravana. I mean, Jesus Christ. Aryavata. I said Ravana. Aryavata. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We'll get better with these names. I promise. I will get better. Interesting, but your least favorite special? I see that. That's why I brought it up. Like, I was gonna say that like out of all the side stories that we've gotten with this batch at the very least, like it was very cool and it was kind of self-contained because it was between those two, but I found it like kind of the least interesting and least compelling. At least when it at least when I think about how it may tie to overall stuff. But for me, I got an extra kick out of it because you guys know I'm Dragon Clan. You know I'm out here. I'm breathing fire. Yo, Glam, if you're around, hop in. I don't know if you're busy. I wasn't sure, but I'm free now, so I had the time, so I decided to go live. But um, yeah, man, the Vritra clan was going crazy, so I was like, yo, I need this right now. Kubera is officially a 0 out of 10 if I don't see Shiva in the main story. Kurigama's lying, but he's not in the story. She's a fraud. Yeah, that's what I said. I saw the HAKAI, bro. Like, stop playing. Change your mind. Update the blog post. Say I changed my mind. Shiva gonna be around. Like, this is not being in the story. You see, Fanta, we got the one panel, the one moment, a blog post, and I never ever got another mention of that dude again. That's different. So, which sucks because I'm super interested in Vitro still. Yeah, so am I. I kind of felt bad for Kanara in this one. Why did you feel bad? Oh shoot, look who we got. Look who we got. There
Well,
you go,
that's some
Lost.
nice energy. That break must have been fun. He must have hit those fucking. What's the fucking chambers in DBZ called?
What, the River Spirit in Time? Black Time
No,
Chamber?
the liquid shit they were abusing on Planet Namek.
The Rejuvenation Chamber?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm revitalized. I'm good. I'm good.
How is everybody?
They should be good. Shiva shows up. Hold on, deletes Manasa. Doesn't elaborate. Like Shiva, I can't believe Shiva did that. I've made a Shiva short. I think you guys might like. I don't know if it's good. We'll see. You'll see in like 3 weeks. I said, wait, did he do something incredible? Something I've never seen before in this story, but he's not in it. I'm squinting my eyes and I'm looking at you, Shifty. Kurrigan, how you doing, bro? Happy New Year.
Terrible. But we're
Oh,
here.
I'm sorry. That's hard to hear that. I understand though. I understand, but I got a chance to do a bit of a like digital detox. So like I just like don't know anything. Like I like came back to like Velma insanity and like and I was good. I'm chilling.
Yeah, we don't talk about that shit that Mindy makes. Mindy's a fucking terrible writer. I hate her. Well, that's being a little aggressive, but
Yeah, Mindy, what's her name? Mindy
she's
Kaling, something like that. I don't know.
yeah, she
I
just
I just know she's
loves.
on The
I don't know
Office.
what's up with her.
Mm.
Dude, she just loves like I don't know what it is. She like basically self inserts most of her characters, but then she like shitting on like Indian women all the time and like say like make them not like think they're beautiful. It's just so weird.
Mm.
I don't know what it is, and
I don't know
Velma's
much about
really
her,
bad.
so I couldn't comment. But I I know that I like from the first time I like heard about the show, I'm like I'm just not interested. But I'm not a Scooby Doo guy, so it is what it is. What do you feel about these chapters? So the last thing that we talked about in general was whistling too. So we have to do first and second. So that's what I'm talking about right now with like Vritra and Kanara and stuff. So I'm talking about right now, Dawn of the Gods and In My Delusions 1. I don't really care about necessarily going in order today, but what do you think about the first and second one? I was saying it's probably the least interesting side story we got, or at least important maybe in terms of overall stuff. But I was happy just to see Vritra like doing stuff, walking around, talking. Like I did enjoy that thoroughly.
I was personally a very big fan. I actually like Kanara, like, and this is one of those relationships that I always wanted to see. I think we talked about it for a little bit. I was like, I always wanted to see like what like really their relationship in the beginning entailed. So it was nice to see. I was surprised that Arivata used to like Kanara though. That did surprise me.
Mm.
And
Oh, so
it,
I did miss four. I knew I was missing one. Love letter. That's the one with Talith and Jabril. I totally.
yeah,
So that's. Am I tripping? I don't see that on Kubari.moe. I think I read that one on Manga Dex. That's what I knew I was forgetting one. Sorry.
I do manga decks exclusively. So
The reason that I actually use Kubari.moe was because of the black background. It doesn't clash with the Kubera logo. That's actually the main reason why I usually wait for that to be out. That's the only reason. That's it. I'll just read it on Manga Dex too. So.
got you.
Okay, but yeah, I'll talk about that one too. I forgot about that one. That's actually probably my least favorite one, all things considered. It was interesting to know that Talith was resurrected, though.
Yeah, that's probably my least favorite one. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So fair enough. This one's
but
better
I
than
like
that one.
this one a lot. I was
Yeah.
also like, I don't know if I expected more personality from Vitra, but I do think it's interesting that like even before like the switch, he was already kind of
Mm.
like a
Like
nonchalant motherfucker.
very, very, very non-expressive, non-emotive, just very relaxed, chill, and just like doesn't emote very often, not very vibrant. Yeah. Like you have to wonder what really changed.
Hmm.
Like, did anything change after the DLC patch of emotions and whatnot, or taking them away of the universe when the universe got patched? So it's interesting to say Kurigam lied. Shiva, speak on him, Miles. He's here. To be honest, well, the romance heavy chapters, I have a soft spot. I love romance too. It's just that like I can't say that Jabril and Talith's relationship means a lot to me. It doesn't. Brilith does. Um, and like Aravata and like Kanara, I don't that doesn't move me necessarily myself. So like it's just because I don't really care about those relationships in general. When it was Jambavan and Yaksha, I was very invested, So it just depends on the character sometimes. But yeah, so it's funny to me. Like, do you think Kanara legitimately was like Vitra and like
Yeah,
okay? Do you think Vitra give
yeah,
a damn?
I think he did.
You
I
think
think I
okay?
think so. Imagine like the Tasaka thing, where like I think just by virtue of like them not like freaking out or auto killing you just by being near you, that's already like
Mm,
that's basically being like best friends for normal people or like really
mm,
close. 'Cause I still want to even know like the reason why Vasuki is allowed, like Tasaka lets Vasuki be around him so much after he
mm.
lost his feelings.
That's a good point.
But
I don't know.
I was also happy to see that Vitra was in like female form. I mean, he looks exactly the fucking same when he's in male form.
I like how it's like one side panel where I'm like, I see some mosquito bite titty.
Yeah,
It's like one panel, but I'm with you. I don't see a physical difference really. I can't tell. It's hard for me to tell at the very least. Especially when she draws like I'm sure if like she was drawing Vitra like straight up full like color, not the like sepia like when she does like this like art style where it's like a little less detailed. I think I
hmm
think I think it'd be easier to tell in that sense, but so maybe in the main story
yeah.
it'll be a lot more obvious.
I think her reason was like I think she said I think at the bottom they said something. She said something along the lines of like Vitra already like as in male form is one of like the most good looking or something like that. So like there
Mm.
isn't much of a change, something like that. I can't remember
he's a
the
he's a
reason.
he just goes from Chad to Batty. Doesn't matter. That'd be
Yeah,
one thing. Okay, fair enough. I'll
I'm
say this
also
for the.
glad that
Go
they
ahead.
were in that
Mhm.
form
Yeah.
because I felt like we feel it more when they like lose their form, their female form.
Hmm.
Because you know how sometimes like there's some they're not always in like their stronger form, but I'm glad it's like oh no, Vitra probably was always in female form, so like them losing that form actually does mean a lot.
Yeah, I feel it. They said Greater Courage Lamb is taking a sabbatical right now. Buff Lady Vitra, hold on. Yeah, I like it. I'm here for it. I'll just say for all three chapters, first one was seeing Vitra was cool, but it was all stuff we'd seen before. Second, great. I knew there was more than 7 natural gods. I just didn't think Usha's was one. Also, Surya's confirmed most active dad, barring Yama. The third, I feel like Ratri did more babysitting though, maybe than Surya, but maybe I don't know. The third goaded absolute Anata Shiva greatness. We're gonna talk about that one in my Lujas. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. They should move Naya. He's a fat phobic merchant, so Vitra should move him. I wear that title with like a badge of honor, honestly. So yeah, Ratri best mom. Okay, fair enough. So Surya best dad. No, Yama's best dad, obviously. So he was going crazy. She she's like, yeah, I'm bored. Like, don't worry, I'm not bored because of you. I'm just chilling. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I guess we can kind of move on from this chapter. But well, I guess we can talk about the Kanara stuff. So when Aravata changes form and everything, what do you guys think about that? Like when you think about like I guess male Aravata and Kanara, what happened with Vitra, and then how it all comes full circle with Kanara like trying to take like back the name and taking the power and becoming that weird like mixture of the both of them. What do you what sentiments do you get? Like, do you think we're still missing a very important key event and piece here for that, or do you think we have enough to piece it together? I
You know
only
I
ask because sorry. When this chapter ended, what was your takeaway from like the last kind of panel? Because I think it took me 4 days to realize that I think Aravata legitimately like Kanara. I guess at some point. I'm not sure if
yeah
that was your
yeah yeah
takeaway was. Okay, like at first
yeah
when I read
yeah
that, I'm like I don't get it. Like you see my live reaction, like I don't get it. Well, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah. She definitely did love Kanara. To me, I think we have basically all the parts. The only part that seems to like that only really matters isn't like with him. It's with Chess.
Mm,
It's the full like why is Chess the one that caused this loss in power? Chess is like the only one I think that we're missing in this. I think in terms of relationship between Kanara and Erivada, I think we have enough.
okay. Do you think that like I try to imagine how the relationship could have gotten worse or soured over time. Like like to me, like when I read the end of this chapter, I don't hold on. Let me make sure I'm remembering it correctly. I don't necessarily think there's no room for like reconciliation necessarily. I know like things that come back ever again to whatever place it was, but like it didn't necessarily seem to me that it was all hopeless. But I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to have these conversations. I guess people don't talk. But yeah, Rachi was moving me though in the other chapter. But that's kind of like I don't have too much to say else about the Vitra chapter necessarily. Like it was cool. I had fun. I want to see more of my dragon people. So you think anything we forgot to mention about that one? You can do love. We can do love letter. I have to go to manga decks though.
I don't think so.
Manga. Wow. Exactly. Told me the mangoes. I was looking at mangoes. Mangoes are expensive now, man. Also, like I remember in one of Kurigam's comments, she said that what Shiva did was like it's not something that he could like spam, which was interesting. And I also like I had like I know this is like me we're all over the place, but in my delusions, like what did you think of like Manasa in a sense of am I saying that right? Manasa, right? But like was she stronger than Anata always? Did Anata like get her strength? Like what were you thinking there? If just go power scaling for a quick second, I wasn't sure. Were they like even and equal, different roles? Like I
Oh,
wasn't entirely sure.
my first thought when I first saw her was this is the original second in command. And then when I'm seeing the training, I'm like, okay, was she the actual first and then Nata was the second? But then I'm like, just because you train somebody doesn't necessarily mean that like you're stronger than them. You know what I mean? Like Anata could have just always had the firepower. He just needed control. Like in the same way Agni literally was like locked away for millions of years until he controlled his fire.
Mhm.
And to me, I was like, I think it also makes sense that if she has the time ability, why she would have so much knowledge early on, because like she's probably already fixing issues early on and had to like learn things way quicker than everybody else. So like, I would still say she was just the second in command. Anata was still stronger because I think even in the chapter they still
The
refer to
Great
Anata
Snake,
as specifically the strongest.
like the Great
Yeah,
Snake, and it's kind of like
yeah,
to me, it's like her role was to mold him into what he would become, necessarily
yeah.
in a sense. But she did seem to have extreme levels of power that to me a Prometheus had to step in to stop her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah,
just
I think she was like I don't think like it was like a wash. Like I think like even as a second tier, she was probably far above all the others and like close to king level.
mhm.
But then again, it is hard to gauge because like with the time power, like that's just such an X factor.
Yeah, yeah. But I'll circle back to that. I will. Okay, so we'll talk about Love Letter. So Love Letter was interesting in its own right. We starts off with the little like Magic Academy thingamajigger maduper and stuff. So we have like we have Talith. By the way, uh, um seeing more Saha did move me. You know, you guys know I like Saha a lot. Elaine also was moved me in this chapter a lot too. It kind of made me laugh because like I remember like the one line from this chapter I remember before like the do not resurrect stuff was like, so you in love with somebody, right? And they get resurrected and it's not you. You want to see that person happy with your person? And I was like, hold on. She
I really
might be
like that.
spitting, but she might not be. Do you know why?
Hmm.
First of all, I gotta find the pen. I want to make sure. I want to read it first. I'm gonna next time I do time. I'm gonna make sure I put this on the screen. My bad, but I'm gonna switch computers for my stream and everything. But okay, I don't know. I can't find it. I can't find it right now. But okay, here's how I see it. Right. So let's say I'm married. You know, and like I'm like I'll pass away. And it's like do not resurrect. Right. She could still just like find another person and fall in love with them, even if you know what I'm saying like that happens. People move on, and even if their spouse dies, they get another person. Right.
Okay.
Now, it might not be my soul, but at least it's my meat. It's my body. It's my
I
body.
hear you.
I I might prefer that over some new nigga, bro. Some completely new dude. I might prefer. Now I don't want to be resurrected. You know me. I'm putting myself on the do not resurrect list, so it had nothing to do with me. But my sole point was with a lady. I'd be like, hold on though. At least it's me. You know what I'm saying? It's my body.
I'm gonna give you pushback and say I hear you, but at the same time, that could arguably be worse. Because imagine a nigga wearing your skin and eating your girl. That's crazy.
At least I
Like
know.
imagine like
At least I know. Like you know, the physical traits that I had was are always desirable. I don't know. I
like
fair
like
enough though.
like
Fair enough though.
this isn't like a perfect one-to-one scenario, but imagine in real life, right? Like you got captured by some like doppelganger, right? Some dude that looks exactly like you, and then just lived your life and took your girl. That would be insane. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I get it.
All right. School brought up a good question that I want to talk about. So I mean, Talith was already not the same soul he was born with. Which one did Jabil fall for? So the question is, I think the question that this chapter is somewhat raised for: did Brilith fall in love with Talith, and then Talith died and got resurrected, and she still kind of like stayed with him, kind of thing? Or do you think that he was already a resurrected soul when he met Jabril? So like he
That's what I
died.
think.
Okay, okay, all right, fair enough. What do you guys think, chat? Let me know. I was surprised Elaine's ranking was so high. Yeah, she out here. She was out here. She moved me this chapter. She might be. She top tier highest man. I liked her. Love letter confirmed to me
Really,
that
that was a
Saha was getting
surprise to
no type of
people.
ass from Lorraine. No ass. No coochie. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say that surprises people. Elaine's always been like
I
to
think.
me shown that she's insanely good. Like Trunks, I think her original ranking when we saw the past was like she was number two, I think,
Oh.
and then we also know she created maybe unless Brahma gave it to her, but like as far as we know, the Edda Atu spell was made by her, not the Edda Atu. I'm sorry, the cheerleader spell, but that still could have been given to her by Brahma, which would make more sense. But Seems to be like some masterclass magician or half-bred.
Mm, sure.
And I will say, I was pleasantly surprised that there was interplanetary rankings. That shocked me.
That was cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I don't know if I couldn't remember if that was a thing before, where it was like I think you went by planet or by area or whatever. But I don't know if there was one where it's like there's like you have like it's almost like you have your rank like like in your specific league, and then with all the leagues combined, kind of international
Yeah,
or anything. That was pretty cool.
I guess
Uh,
Willarv is just really like that crispy then.
Willard had some fucking monsters on that thing. He was someone moving the lane asked him that question. In fact, he didn't look pressed. He really didn't look pressed like that. I mean, Tyler's already on the scene. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be sick. My body boning my vibe with a different soul. At least it's me. I don't know. Again, you like Miles, like there really is no like there's pros and cons to this no matter how you look at it. But I'm just like I don't know if I want a completely other person, but it is what it is. I wouldn't mind because I'd be dead, so I wouldn't mind even if I wanted. Fair. The interesting dialogue from Saha for me is trying to look good in front of the ones you love, which is the exact same dialogue Yama had in the end of Phoenix Magician. Looking good in front of the ones you love. Is that what he's talking about? The 3-horned dragon dude? Like that chapter, right? That's one
No,
with male Shuri, male Shuri,
mm-hmm.
human Shuri. Okay, yes, I remember. Sorry, I had to go into my archives for a second, but yeah, I just kind of like this chapter for the conversation that they were having in general. I kind of like the way that they even like pulled out, like they weren't necessarily supposed to be there, like at in the first place. It's like I don't make a fuss. I like when it's noisy. We're just gonna take a peek and quietly leave. Um, is Talith a character that you would like to see a bit more of, or do you think that like the little crumbs that we get is more than enough, and really Jabril is more important? Just curious.
I need more. Like,
Okay, okay.
I think for me, the reason why I don't have this chapter that high is because I do think like some of these relationships we could have inferred from like the actual main story, but I don't think what we see here changes much of like what we already knew about like the relationship. Like I think this
Like
changes like the
like
relationship that was initially
we could have
established.
obviously inferred at some point in their relationship everything was good and it wasn't rocky before, like I
Yeah,
guess she got I hear what you're saying. I'm with you on that.
I wanted
Yeah.
to see what the switch was. That's what I'm curious about. I need to see the switch. Like why he was so into like the idea of killing their daughter and even fought her. That's what I needed to see.
Mhm,
But this is just nice because like I just like seeing Willard like relaxing, having their little like festival and doing stuff.
mhm. Remember how people try to look good in front of their loved ones and the loved ones are blind to their faults. That's Talith in this chapter, and Jabril. That's a good point. I guess that is a carry on from before. Um, Talith and Jabril is way too underdeveloped for me. I don't know if it's that important. Oh yeah, I completely forgot that Jabril and
I
Talith
I
chapter
agree.
existed. Not gonna lie. Yeah, it's just one of those things where I could infer at some point they were amicable to one another and there was a good, before things turned sour that what we saw with young Brilith and young leads and everything like that. So just like it didn't add, like it was I guess somewhat nice to see. Though like their like conversation and talk like didn't move me. She's like, this letter is annoying. I don't want it. Like I don't I didn't know how to take it.
I'm not a Jabril fan. Wow, Jabril fan either. Like
I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's mommy Brilith, but but Brilith out. So, I got my I got my side that I lean on. So, I found the line exactly. Saha, while you're here in Ridhalo, come stop me the Temple of Death with me. You talked about it for a long time, but kept procrastination because you were busy. The do not resurrect list. I haven't decided yet. What is it you're still concerned about for someone else to take over your body after you die? But from the viewpoint of others, it would be better for another soul to resurrect in this body and contribute to society. Contribute to society. Sure, sounds great. Awesome. But think of someone other than you taking over your body and making love with your fiance. Can you accept that? And he just looks at her like, I don't get the Kang. What's the difference? Low key. So,
yeah,
um,
it
is
was
that?
nice seeing Tasaka.
Yeah, I would say he's like there like a random like in a couple of panels there. Cause
I
cause
was
like Oh, I remember. I remember what. Sorry, I just remembered like a specific moment I had when I was reading where I thought this was going to be very important. It didn't end up going this way, but I remember now why. I like it says Sa has no Riz. I know what that means. I learned what that meant like 4 days ago. Um, he's talking about like the do not resurrect, and he was like shocked about it after she asked Sa that question. She's like, "Can you guys tell what you're talking about now?" And like you see them in the night of witches joint performance. I'm looking forward to blah 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 yada yada. Then you see like thing, and then you see Idy. I told you to stay close. Don't you'll get lost. And I thought like we're gonna transition to what happened with like possibly like Claude or something, and Irie. What happened with her? But it didn't end up going that way. But that's I thought we were going there for a second, so I got excited. That was a
That's
pretty like
unfortunate.
it. That was an interesting transition. Well, come like because we know that she got resurrected, or was it? It wasn't him. It was her. Yeah, it was
Hmm.
her. So 'cause wasn't he initially younger than her? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So yeah.
Well, Claude also, well, he didn't die. He was going to die and got his lifespan extended. Yeah,
Mm,
she actually did get murdered.
yeah.
She got bodied.
Yeah.
Uh,
He did what he did. He did. Wait. He did what he was just waiting on. It. Lorraine was Tilda one right. Was right there. Hey
what?
man.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm gonna need you to rewrite that play. I'm gonna
Jabril
need you to
man.
redo that sentence.
He's like he worked hard with his little flowers. Like it's not even the performance day. Why are you even? Is it a letter? Or it's above their writing replies. I don't know, man. This talk just like didn't move me either. Like they're walking and whatever. Then she smacks him on the head. Like I was just annoyed. Yeah, what could
You
it
know,
be? Like I don't
you know
know.
what this should have been instead? It should have been a Lila and Jabril chapter. That's what we needed. That's
Uh,
what I'm far more interested in that relationship than anything else.
I actually agree. I mean, yeah, they're interesting, and I want
Because
to know
that could
what
have been
happened.
like Kubera stuff in there. Like Lila's already like infinitely better than like most of the other people. Like,
Mm,
and we maybe could have got some Lila like mentor stuff too, because they would have been alive at that point. So I feel like that would have been far more interesting to see than what we got here.
I agree. Again, I don't want to like I don't want to take the wrong idea. I don't think the chapters were bad. It's just like comparatively in the whole group of things, it's like it's kind of forgettable. Like love letter to me is a chapter that's easy to forget. It exists.
I'm glad it exists because it's like
Yes.
happy.
Yeah.
But
But
other than that, it's like okay.
I couldn't like, you know. Also the panel with Lila and Jabril, Lila's outfit was similar to Lee's. Yeah. We know how that relationship ended. That's why like yeah, it's true. That's why like to me it's interesting to know to see like when these we know how a lot of these relationships end. That's why we want to see the point where like there's that divergence where it's like we got along greatly, we were best friends, but like we know that they like ended up fighting each other to the death type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So like we always want to see when it was good and where it possibly went sour or where that paradigm shift could have happened. And that's what I would have wanted to see with Billith and Talith. Me again, they had a child together. I guess they were I think they were married. I don't know if they're married or just together or whatever, but like I know they got along at some point. Like this didn't
I'm pretty
do
sure they were
much
married
for me. Okay.
because that was a
Yeah.
specific thing I think of. Jabril got married before she was a priest. They were saying that like the beginning of season 1 because that was the whole thing of like, oh,
Well, yeah,
Brilith, you can't be married.
they were saying people hate Talith because he got Brilith. I got Jabril.
Yeah,
They're like, I
yeah.
hate you. All right, let's talk about Ushas. The dawn. A flash of light crossed the suns at the beginning, and light and heat divided the world. The sky enchanted by the sight. From that moment on, realized there was also something bright and hot he held in his arms. Was it a byproduct of creation? Was it an embodiment of his worldly desires and passions? He didn't know exactly what it was, but it seemed evident that it would get in the way of his goals. What was abandoned by the sky fell upon the land, lighting up the darkness, and gave warmth to the cold earth, and became the dawn of this world. I like that opening chapter because it actually reminds me of any like super high fantasy world where like the primordials used to exist in
Yeah.
nothingness, and then the teardrops fell and created the ocean. You know, like it gave me that type of like feeling. And I genuinely kind of like those type of like stories like that a little bit. They make me like move me. Like the tears created the ocean, and it's like I don't know. Then he punched the ground and crafted the earth to create the mountains. Like it gave me that feeling. So that was kind of cool. But Indra was just like, "What is this shit? I don't want it." He dropped like, what's good with him, bro? He's just getting in my way. I don't want this shit. He's dropped it to the earth. He's so different, bro. What's wrong with him? But this chapter was great. I thought it was fantastic. Funny ass. Indra's funny, bro. Baby Ush has melted my heart. Jabril brings misfortune. Fair enough. I have to guess the ship happened after Billa's birth. Confirmed from the beginning, pre fifth Zen. Wait, confirmed from the beginning. From the beginning, pre fifth Zen. Indra is a bastard. Man said feelings. I don't need that. He's like warmth. He's like ew. What's the meme? I don't want to play with you anymore. It's like I don't. I never want to play with you. He just drops it. So it's interesting to say that to see that. But yeah, so this chapter's about Usha, and she's like a baby the whole time. Like she took way longer to develop than all the other gods it seems for some reason or what. We're not. Do we get a reason why in the chapter or even an implied reason or is that still something that's a mystery? I don't actually don't recall.
Wait, what are we
Like
talking about? Wait
why
for
was she still a baby in this chapter for like so
because
long?
because because of fucking what's his because of Maruna. Remember when Maruna's around in the past? She's in human form because Maruna has her powers. So remember when Maruna went back to the beginning of like Maruna was there when like the universe basically was created. So when she was created, she was still a kid because Maruna was around at that time.
Holy shit! I did not put that together. That made perfect sense to me. I'm just dumb. Okay. Ah, yo.
Yeah, that's why like the first time she's an adult was like right after the ancient humans were destroyed
Mm.
because that's when
So
Maruna
whenever he
finally
was
leaves.
displaced or leaves, okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense because like the whole Dawn thing, I think obviously Crimson Sunshine of Dawn, blah blah blah, yada yada. Aruna, the original name. So like I know that was connected, but actually didn't put that together. That's well said. I'm not bright today. Tagara, yes, Indra, no, I don't like Indra and Tagara, but after these chapters, I still don't like them. But there's more. There's hope for that. Fair enough.
Cigar is way better than Endra.
Maruna
I
and
don't think they're
probably why
comparable.
Indra is after Garudas. Fair enough. Fair enough. She was born an adult, but as soon as Maruna came, she became Chibi, and the created gods found it odd for her to be a child. No. Like, yeah, Miles made that make sense to me. I apologize
See,
for that.
this is the thing that confuses me about the Usha stuff. So they explain it even at the bottom. She's kind of like under the process of a created god, but she's classified as a natural god because I guess the dimension in which she was born naturally has like day, night, and whatever, so she's still natural. But it's weird because, and also in the blog post down there, they say the primeval gods created her, but we literally see Indra's the one that crafted her from like himself, and we also know in the chapter Agni and Sharia also had their energy. So is the process Agni, Sharia, and Indra had parts of them that melded to like create this thing, and then from that like identity, the creation gods like crafted Ushas. Like they basically gave like the material, and they were like the
So with
builders.
what with light, fire. What's the other one? Sky.
Sky.
That's interesting to think about because
Yeah,
that is hard to because like I think what would somewhat make this probably easier to understand is if we just saw like Ratchery, how she was made, because like night, you know, and is like important and it's natural, you know, in a sense. I think if we had that contrast, maybe we could make more sense of it. But it's interesting to think of because she in a lot of ways she's like as a natural or nature god, whatever. She's different in the way she came
yeah,
about because it almost seems like she came from Indra, but obviously she wanted to see Agni because she's part fire. Like I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. Keaton. That's Keaton. Keaton's kind of like going where I'm going. Where like it's kind of like if there was two parts. Like let's say we're making a building, right?
Mhm.
Or let's say we're making a house out of bricks, right? Agni, Sharia, and Indra provided the bricks. to
Okay.
like that could be used for this thing. And then the primevals with those natural resources then crafted the house itself and then like named the house and did whatever, added like their specific designs. So like they gave the energy and then the primevals from that energy made the form body and then attached the name to it.
I mean, I could see it. It makes sense to me.
That's like I guess like that's like I'm like that's the only way I feel like this process makes sense.
Hmm.
But I
So
kind of wish we got that in the chapter.
yeah, fair enough. Um. So yeah. Oh, you know what's crazy? Like you saying that to me now, like makes so many things make so much sense to me. Because he's like Chandra, do anything? Like I wonder. I have a guess, but it's because around this time, Chandra I think had to run into Maruna at some point. Didn't Maruna also have his cloak? Oh, that no, that was Rand. I think Rand had the cloak. What?
Rand had
What?
the cloak in D500
Okay.
when Anata just died.
We're gonna have to make a timeline of this Kubera at some point too. Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
The Kubera whip is gonna the Kubera noose around my neck for content gonna be crazy this year. I have to explain so much. Sagara always causes grief to all the characters I like, and it's annoying how she and her minions always get away when someone's about to kill them. They're like cartoon villains. That's why I don't like her. They get blasted off again. Team Rocket in a way that she's a daughter of the sky, fire, and sun. Yeah, you could say that. I don't think that's crazy. I think that's nonsensical. Now this bot, it's the bot sending notification now. That's insane. Emily's useless. That's funny, but okay. Let me look. What's probably looking for? So darkness of this world, yada yada. Indra, if by some possibility the power of Dom someone else, then we need to kill that bastard and get the power back. What's good with him? What's good with your
Uh,
man's Indra, bro? I know it's not
who
your
who
man's.
who?
I know he's not your man's. I know he's not your man's. I'm joking. I'm
I was
joking.
gonna say
Mhm.
I'm the biggest Indra hater.
I was gonna say,
That is.
why do you think? Sorry, not to cut you off. It's so funny now that I'm seeing this thing connects and makes sense. I don't know how to pick this up, but it might have been because I was in vacation mode and I kind of came and I read it and I went back to what I was doing. But how could there be anyone with a higher priority for Dawn than Usha's? Why do you think Maruna possibly has
Again,
that?
I have no idea. Like I said this to Glam. I was like, the dawn element as a concept has to be a thing because otherwise, I don't understand all this stuff pertaining to dawn. That's why I keep asking if she when because it seemed like she was going to become fifth Zen. When she becomes fifth Zen, would she literally get a new element like Dawn and be the only holder of such a thing? In the same way, Yama's the only person that has dominion over death. Like, are we getting new elements as a result, rather than her just being taking over purely the role of Sky, or having all three dominions of Sky, Fire, and Light? I'm like, I think she has to get the element Dawn. That has to be created.
I don't know. That's hard. That's hard to say. I couldn't tell. So Ratri, some combo of Chandra and Indra and Chandra probably. I think that's fair because nighttime, the darkness, that makes sense to me. The sky, and it's also in the sky, so Indra would still make sense. Also, there may not be a goddess of day based on what Curry said at the end of the chapter. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna read that in a second. He wants Maruna's head. What are Maruna's attributes? I actually don't remember.
Fire, Sky, Light, the same as Utris.
There you go. Maruna's built different. We talked about that in the God stream we had too. Same as Usha, she imparted her power too much is why I always thought Maruna's the only Sura who is partly a god. Oh. Let me go to the bottom of the chapter real quick. Yeah, there's a lot here. Let me read this. I don't want to spoil such an emotional interpretation as whether she's Indira's conscience or a daughter born from his heart, but there were a number of people who gave me serious questions in secret comments, so I will answer them. Um, in the intro in the beginning shows a phenomenon of dawn occurring created by sky plus light plus fire of the attributes of Ushas. Ushas, a god presiding over dawn, was created by the primeval gods, but also named by primeval gods. Dawn is a concept that only comes after the formation of planets and stars. So why is she a natural god? Isn't she a created god? Some of you asked that, but there are many other dimensions in the world of Kubera, not just the human realm. For example, the god realm is not a sphere and neither rotates or orbits, but there are night, day, and dawn. Usha's Usha is a natural god, so she was not young after creation. However, she grew younger as Maruna arrived during the wait of time and only regained her original form as Maruna left the other side of the story chapter. This side, blah blah blah, and she became young again since she saved Aruna in the Anata chapter. Just as just as many of you thought, Usha lost interest in Agni. Oh, no, there's Agni stuff. I don't know if that relates to what. So why did Glam say there's no day when they say there's day? Unless there's no day in the human
No,
realm, you're saying, or only in the
no,
god
he
realm?
was. I think no, he was saying there should be a god day. There should be a god or goddess of day. Not you. I don't know if he
You
accidentally
do
had a
you do,
negative in
do
there.
you do you think that maybe there is one, but we just don't know about them yet?
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Oh, okay. So we have dawn, day, and night. We got evening. I'm kidding, but let me see. Do you think Chandra would cancel Indra's betrothal if he was the officiator of Vayu's, not Indra's? Do I think Chandra would have done it?
Yeah.
Chandra is very pragmatic. So if he felt that there was a reason that was just logical and reasonable to do it, I don't think he'd hesitate.
Yeah,
Personally
he
speaking,
definitely would do it.
yeah, he's very pragmatic. Indra didn't need help to cut that shit off. I found the line with Chandra asking him if he's gonna go back to the top interesting because like what would that do for you if you're already a fifth set and
Well,
enlightened? Like what is going back there do necessarily?
helps you get rid of your newfound emotions that you gained in between each enlightenment. So the way I took it was like
Lame.
he initially went to the top and got rid of like his emotions or love for like Lucius, right? And then when she came back as an adult, their relationship, which was already rocky, I don't want to say it got better because Lucius is so kind, but I think he started developing like some form of like positive emotions again just from interacting with Lucius. So he would just consistently go back to the top to get rid of those emotions that kept being recreated. That's how I took it.
Interesting. He said I don't want this shit. I used to turn the Vampire Diary switch. We turn off their emotions.
Yeah,
He's like
yeah.
keep that off. Don't turn it on. Depower it. Cut the cords. Shut off the
My boy the
lights.
Ripper.
Honestly, like that's funny to me. But yeah, what did he say? Oh, actually had a line I liked here. He's like, um, by any chance, raise the topic again. Why I feel comfy now. Perfect. Let's comfort at all. You may be comfortable with those around you. And he's like, why should I be interfered with when making decisions about myself? I actually agree with that. Like, of course, that's right. That's your right. However, you have to take responsibility for the mindset you created like that.
I
Don't
agree with that.
Yeah, yeah. Don't make excuses blaming the top or regret your actions even in the future. Right back at you. Don't regret not doing as I did earlier. So yeah, Ratchery was taken care of for a lot of the time. Obviously, they have a synergy obviously because of what they represent. She used to be with Indra every once in a while, but she stopped liking Indra, and then we saw her with Surya. I wasn't sure if it was Varuna for a second, but it was Surya. Um, and then she wanted to see fire, but this is during a time where Agni can't I guess I can't remember if he's uncontrollable, he can't whatever yet, so he's still
Mm-hmm.
like in hell and underworld, whatever. So we go
Yep.
to the best god in the series. That's absolutely can't be denied. Look at Yama, bro. She's she's this kid. It seems you struck her fancy this time. If you ignore her now, she will literally cry endlessly. Could you please just take care of her? He's like, I'm busy, but it's only for a moment. It was not for a moment. Like she's just on his head, just like doing like childish things, while my man trying to do some paperwork, bro. Leave him alone. This was cute and endearing to me, though. I really like this because it seems that as underdeveloped and whatever childish that Ushas was, it seemed that she had a tendency to tell when somebody where she tried to it seems like she tried to cheer up the gods that seemed pretty sad or melancholic. I'm not sure what you want to say, well, how you describe it, but Yama kind of
Empath.
just does his work and is like, whatever, this, and she's like, like bored. And he's like, no, if you're bored, go somewhere else. Like, no, Yama bored. He's like, no, you're not. Like, I'm not bored. I'm like he smiles at her. Like, I like that moment. It's very very endearing. He's not the goat yet. Like, come on, dog. This
I
toxic.
also like that. I like that he was young when he first like took care of her. Like it was
Mhm.
still like Kid Yama,
Yeah, his hair
and
is
then like
shorter and
he's
stuff.
like an
Yeah,
adult. It's just like,
yeah.
uh, I mean, Yama's great.
Yeah.
I've never not liked Yama. He's just not top one. That's
Impossible. Just I don't understand it anymore. I don't get it anymore. I just
we
read
know
them.
who the goat is. It has not changed from chapter 4. Okay?
No.
He is reign supreme. He is the strongest. He is the best.
Nah.
He got
He's
the
a
best
toxic
wife.
dad. He keeps going out for milk is crazy. Do you think someone's birth attributes can be affected in terms of unison depending on the relationship the gods of those attributes have with each other? Let me read that again. Do you think
Mm,
do you
no.
think someone's birth attributes can be affected in terms of unison depending on the relationship of the gods those attributes have with each other? What do you I'm not sure if you what you mean by that exactly. What do you how
I
do you
get what he's saying. He's saying like imagine if like the birth attributes are like Kubera and fucking Indra, right?
Mhm.
Would your elements because of the relationship between Kubera and Indra, because they have a shitty relationship with each other, would then your elements as a result of that also not like be able to be used well together?
Oh, no, I don't think. I don't. It doesn't seem to me that that's
I
that
don't
much of
know.
a thing. The only,
Yeah, I don't think it.
the only thing that I can say that it seems like maybe if like a god that has a type of spell or something just ceases to exist on altogether, it's not there anymore. Though I do know one did change from was it chaos to nil or nil to chaos, so I'm not sure how that
Hmm.
works, but that's interesting to think about. But I don't think so. No, Chandra has a great comeback. So yeah, Chandra could he could hold his own, man. Another one of those conversations where they're both right. Love and Curry does this, or like at the very least, you can see where both of them are coming from, or they both have a point to be made. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agni was stupid strong. He definitely nerfed himself when he cooled down. Papayama. Agni was my hook to the webtoon, so he was my favorite god. He was my first favorite god. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's like top three always, but
Right.
I think the problem is as much as like I actually did relate to Agni a lot, but I feel like I just relate to Yama more probably. That's probably what it really is at the end of the day. I, I don't think it matters. Yeah. Yama's kind of my self insert low key, so I feel a kinship. I also could see myself doing this where it's like, oh, whatever, just give me the kid and I'll take care of her. I'll figure it out. I could see myself doing this, but yeah, she kept coming back to him. And then after it said one day when fire had cooled his heat and was finally reached from hell, Ladon was interested in him for a while, but it didn't take long for her to lose interest and she returned to death again. It was interesting to me that Kurigam said that some people interpret this as jealousy for like a love related jealousy. I never took it that way from the get go. I don't know if you did at any
I
capacity.
didn't either. No.
I don't think she had any romantic feelings for him at any given point.
I just
I think she
instantly
could
took
just
it
tell
as
that yo
like,
he's happy, he's good, he's taken care of, he's not
yeah,
bored, so to speak.
yeah,
Like bored to me seems like code name for like I don't know, miserable, unhappy, depressed, sad. You know what I'm saying? Because she says that Indra's the
yeah.
most bored always, but like she don't, I don't know, she don't like him. So yeah, my favorite characters aren't the ones I relate to, but the ones I admire. It's not even that. It's just that a lot of the times, like my self insert in any series or the character that I relate to the most will always be a character that I like. That's what it is. There could be characters who are nothing like me that I admire or do like like I would like to be like Superman. I don't think I am. Like Superman's a much nicer man than I am, but there's still things about him that I like and relate to and admire. If she was jealous, she wouldn't go so hard to protect her betrothal, which happens after the fact. Yes, that's true. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, I like their use of bored too, because I interpret bored as in like not seeing value in like the current universe.
Mm,
Because she said when she says it to Yama, he doesn't say he's not bored. He said it's not because of you.
mhm.
And Yama always seems to have like that like he's very much like I'm just doing it because it's my job, but like this shit's like just low key trash. Of course, there's really good moments like when he had like human Shuri and stuff, and even with like Indra, she says you're the most bored out of them all. After she already called him ugly and doesn't like what he's doing, and Indra we know to be like the one that like seems to have the least emotions out of all the gods, and kind of just doesn't care about anything and just does whatever.
It's crazy. It's crazy you say that because like I agree and I don't. Like in a lot of ways, Indra. to me emotes a lot. They just tend to be negative emotions. If that makes sense.
I
Like
agree with
I
you
would
in
argue
some
that
sense.
like Vritra, like Taksaka is very more like non-emotive. Just like you know.
Do
I hear what you
do
say.
you know what he
I get what
reminds
you
me
mean
of?
though. I get what you mean though.
Do you know
Who?
what Indris kind of reminds me of?
Who
You say
said?
this. I think you said this. I can't remember if this is a different character or something, but it's like he understands. I think how people's emotions and what people expect, and
Mm,
he thus does that based like he's intellectualizing how we should do it. If
yeah,
that makes sense.
it's when I think yeah,
It's
it's when I told you when I was younger. I didn't always fully like I could understand why somebody would be sad if they lost their family and house, but I didn't necessarily feel it emotionally. But I knew how to replicate the emotion.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. That makes sense.
That's how Indra strikes me because like even like the thing that most gods know him for, which is like having like kind of like a collection, it just seems like something he does just because there's nothing else to do. Like when he's like, "Oh, I have like that Garuda clan," like he had like a Garuda clan member like just in like in a collection somewhere, and like he wanted like Maruna, like it didn't like it wasn't like malicious and it's like why, like literally why not? Because there's nothing else to do.
Mm.
But I think Usha's definitely is like the moment where he like was like got super mad with Usha's. I think that's one of the rare times actually motion got through because of how he actually feels about Usha's.
Yeah. So like how do you interpret their relationship right now, or at least with this chapter? Like, do you think it hurts him? Do you think it literally does hurt him that she doesn't care about him, or doesn't like him
Yes,
like that? And but
I mean,
which I find hilarious based on what on the first thing that he did when she was created. He's like, he dropped it to the earth. He just dropped it.
yeah, like even going outside of like the end like the end blog post thing where he said where they asked if it was like a conscious or daughter thing. Like I don't think this is a romantic or even familial relationship. I think this
Mm.
is one of like those like rare inexplicable like feelings because we just can't do it because we're humans that like he has like this is like in like more so on his end like a one-sided like extremely close feeling and relationship that he has but
Yeah,
it's not
I don't think it's
familial
love.
or like
I don't think it's
romantic.
love. I don't think it's
Yeah,
love. I don't know. I don't know if I disagree that it's familiar, but it's like it's definitely like more of a platonic thing. But it did come across to me a lot that it bothered him that like
yeah,
it's sometimes I wonder if because as the sky, because you know the dawn or the sun is supposed to be in the sky really like high in space or whatever, but like because they relate that they're always gonna have relationships like that to some degree. I don't know. It's hard to explain, I guess, but I guess you
yeah,
can technically argue that they're all connected though. Like you could make that argument with anybody. Like even if it's loose, it's loosely they're interconnected in some way. So
yeah.
yeah.
It's like I don't want to say like it's like just one of the things like he needs her but like it is one of those things like we just can't explain it because we don't operate in that form of relationship with anything so like
Mhm. Okay, hold on. Chats make me interesting right now. So, the point of Idris' character to show what happens when you abuse the top. He probably had good intentions at the start. That's debatable, I think, but you know that's fair. I think he definitely could have gone to the top more than once. But I do think Indra cares about Usos a lot, and then we gets butthurt when she lost it at him. At the end, she acknowledges Ushas has grown up as as a childish daughter. I just know Ushas gained points for being the only character to successfully use violence against Indra. We need more of that. I feel that. Making him feel sad does not make me sad. I was clapping. I was like, yeah, suffer. Be sad. Yeah,
oh
Naya, I
that's not
think this
true.
might be hold on. Yeah, Naya, I think this might be a point with Indra. He didn't understand how valuable she was until he let go of her and let her develop. I think that's valid. Off introduction, Usopp came up as a maternal goddess. I think Usos is the conscious and compassion that Indra threw away. I think the beginning of the chapter makes implies that that's possible. So I'm not mad at that. Sorry, what did you like agree with that? I just thought that Usos kind of put him in his place. And I just like seeing that. That's really what I meant.
No, that I agree with. I'm saying that Usos is the only one that has successfully used violence against him. There's other people that have.
Oh,
That's all I
okay.
was saying.
Oh, okay. Indra, why are you so ugly? What? So ugly. The most bored god here is you, but I won't play with someone so ugly. Dawn would suddenly grow up, said words that didn't match her appearance, and disappeared. Death explained Dawn had suddenly grown up not too long ago, and so she still had a childish side to her. I think by the time we see her with Ratchery and stuff, she seems to be a lot more well put together mentally. If I remember correctly, I don't think she speaks childishly at that point. But yeah, an ugly god.
This was a this
Yes,
was a
terribly
really
ugly.
really
Hmm.
random thought. I don't even believe it myself. But what if Ushas is the only god that can reach enlightenment and retain all their emotions?
She did. I think someone in the chat said she comes out as very maternal, and she seems very kind and nice and gentle. All those things too. That's interesting to think about. But you also but wonder if she maybe possibly lost something else. I don't know. That's interesting to think about. It kind of comes across that way, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But the way this chapter was interesting, and so Dawn became the only god who could hurt the sky and still always be granted forgiveness. And yeah, and it kind of just fizzles out at the end there. But yeah, that was cool. This team,
Sorry, Agnes killed Indra before, multiple times.
yeah, because Indra's an asshole.
In one of the blog posts, they also mentioned that Kubera has the Indra fight, and
Mm.
Kubera has an
Oh, you said you
advantage
meant
because of his
you said
element.
you meant physical violence. Oh yeah, yeah. That's the only way. I thought you meant like I find that it's probably like I don't know, hurt him in the heart and in his mind more. So they say
Here
Indra
comes
was
Lo with that Indra love.
it wasn't
Indra's fucking
trying. It wasn't
garbage.
trying. Oh, come on, dog. Well, we didn't see that, so no satisfaction
That's
was
fair.
gained from it. Yeah, it was just
That's
mentioned. That's a
fair.
good point. That's a good point. In my delusions, one in the beginning, there was a great snake who enveloped the universe, and it had a mate. Her name was Manasa. She understood, cared for, and loved the great snake more than anyone in the world, the one he cried and laughed together with until the end of the universe, his first and last mate. I can't lie to you. It's been moving me how all of these chapters were starting. A lot of these chapters were starting with those like little, because like these are like beginning lore kind of world building kind of segments here that have been pretty interesting. But I love
I
this chapter
laughed.
so far. You laughed?
I laughed because when I saw this, I was like, this, like, every single second hand is truly a fake. That's just what I initially thought. I'm like, every single second hand's a fraud. They literally all gained their positions after all the previous ones just got bodied
they're
somehow.
all like
That's it. That was
they're all like thirds and fourths, masquerading as seconds.
literally. There's like what I think only Tasaka and Ravana are the only ones that are true twos at this point. Oh, I guess and Arivada. Those are like, yeah. But everybody else is like, there's always something. I was like, jeez.
Like Garuda before had, had
Garuda
oh
had like
shoot.
five. Yeah, I was like,
Godly chapter. When the chapter started by saying Ananta had a mate, I felt the pain coming. You know what? I should have known better too. Kurgan goes hard with the high fantasy poetic openings. I like it. I like it. Except Taxaka, fair. Dragon Gold, yeah. This chapter is the reason that Tierra laughed at your Shiva video. Shiva video. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, Miles. The number twos are fraudulent, and all the couples are fraudulent too. um, I just why did why did she say she was not gonna do nothing? Like, bro, like she was done so much more, and I've seen him so much more often than like Fanta. That I'm just like, bro, I don't even know if I believe you anymore. Like, I've been seeing him. It's so funny. I made that video and seen him like 4 times since. Like he was just there, not doing nothing, but he's there, and then he's a fucking HAKAI, bro. Like I couldn't believe it. So I'm gonna say it right now for all to see. If Manasa had existed until present day, she would have been at the bare minimum top 10 character. Fair enough. Speaking of Tierra, she said, "Nice, skipping lines as usual. Pick up your game, man. One day you're gonna miss some important reveals, especially in the coming side stories. Don't worry, I'll be careful. I'll be careful. I
uh,
don't miss lines. I just don't always read them because I might. What happens a lot of times is I read it in my head and I don't read it out loud. I promise." Kurigam caught lying at 4K. 4K, son. This is the most HD shit I ever seen. Shiva was the goat this chapter. Like I want to say that too, but I'm like, he blew up her mind and body, and now I'll be out here catching souls. He didn't,
this.
he didn't
Oh,
catch the
sorry, go on.
souls. No, I was gonna say like he didn't catch the body, he caught the soul. He be catching souls. I actually want
I
to
don't know
ask
if
you a
this.
question. If
Okay.
did this chapter, in your opinion, make sense of the title of the side story already? or no? You think that remains to
Yes,
be seen? Okay.
yes,
What,
yes. I think it
what's your
perfectly does.
what's your interpretation?
Well, because delusions have always been used. The phrasing for delusion has always been used as a means that to show that Nat is time traveling every time. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, something's probably gonna switch up with time traveling that he's trying to like change. Because like I forget the
Sagara.
chapter when they specifically say like he believes something in his delusions. Like it's a very specific word that's always used in this specific way with him in time traveling. That's
Mhm.
why even this goes back to what I was saying with the Jambavan stuff, where this like with me and like a few of the others were saying, we're like, this is why I think Anata was the one that went back in time for Yaksha, so Yaksha didn't kill his clanmates, and I think that's proven with this chapter. And the same like Manasa would go back to like make sure Nastikas weren't fighting and stuff. I think him having that dream was like that universe going the previous universe that didn't happen, which Anata went to change, so
I
Yaksha
got
didn't go
you.
and kill like all his Nastikas.
Okay. So the flash that he got was really like the possible other timelines that Anata ended up
Yeah,
rewriting. Okay. Yo, family, okay? Twitter got deleted. My number changed, old, unmoved on. I'm good, brother. How you been, man? I haven't really been on Twitter myself. I deleted it off my phone, so like I couldn't be on my computer right now. I banned myself pretty much till February. Which primeval god do we think Karanata? Give me 1 sec. I'll answer in a second. I need to catch up on TOG. I don't. I mean, did, unless aren't you already caught up? Unless you never caught up before, because like no chapters come out since. Um, I think this is just one of Natsu's delusions. So imagine seeing the other two. You think like so like the reason why I asked this, I'm gonna go through it in a second. When Sagara asked if he ever took full sword form, he answers with that. Even him using a sword form
yes,
is in his delusions. Okay.
that's very true. Yeah, because it would have been all the false universes that he destroyed or changed. He went his full short form to change something, and he was like, "All right, scrap it, redo, new game plus, let's do it."
Which primeval do we think taught Anata time travel? I don't think it
Callie,
was Shiva or Brahma.
I think it was Callie.
I think the easy answer is Kali, and because of like the chaotic smirk, I understand why people go that. You guys know I don't trust that nigga Vishnu. I'm still I'm looking at Vishnu sideways, bro. I don't care. I'm looking at him sideways. But I think
I
the
think
easy acceptable answer is Kali though. I do.
it would have to be one of those two because I think it's safe to assume all the gods should have some form of time abilities, but Vishnu and Kali are the only ones on screen actually using time abilities, so it would have to be one of those two. I'm just gonna go Kali because she loves making a mess of shit, and she already did that shit with Manaka,
Mhm.
so she loves fucking up Nastikas and couples. So her track record already speaks for herself. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
say Kali.
Okay. Kali's probably right, but I don't know. Vishnu was sus proposing to reform Manasa before Nata could undo what happened. Although being that Shiva destroyed her, it may not have been. I don't think it was possible once he did that. Why was Kali using the cheerleader cloak? She had no reason to hide. Shiva deleted her retroactively. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think that's the easy and acceptable answer is Callie. But like with you guys, I don't look at Callie and go, Callie's actually a good person, like trying to save the universe. I have like the line in my head where it's like expect the unexpected. So like the one you might not expect it from is Vishnu, but for the ones that you expect it from, don't expect it as much as you think. Where it's like I've always found
Yeah,
this. I always found this to be pretty true in my life, where it's like, okay, you see the guy over there with his pants sagging and the hood up, or whatever. I'm not saying he's like doesn't do things that are bad, but it's not as bad as you probably think. Now, if you see that boy, the guy in band class with a pocket protector and and like pulled up pants, you'd be surprised what they're capable of. Is essentially what I'm saying. So that's why
I
when it
agree.
comes to the Kali and Vishnu like thing, I'm like, I don't absolve them of anything, but I don't trust Vishnu either. So
Yeah, I think it's one of those
personal
things
take.
of like Callie's
But
not as evil as she's made to seem, nor is
mhm,
she as good as you may otherwise think.
exactly. I have a rule: if I can't see your eyes, I don't trust you. What's under there? Vishnu, the only one scheming. Kali just taking the heat for it, like low key. But okay, so I want to talk about the chapter thing right. So
Wait, quick
the,
question.
yeah,
This might be a hot take. Manasa, I think, might have the best design out of the side stories.
mm, So like characters that we've only kind of really seen in the side story, introduced in the side story, or were
Yeah,
introduced in
like
the side story.
new characters in new form. I should
So
say.
we saw what John Bavan and a couple others. I mean, I really do like her design though, so I'm not mad at that. I'll probably have to think about every single one, but I'm not mad at that point at that step.
Jamie would probably be my favorite if I got to see an actual like adult
Suriform,
form.
bear form, maybe too.
Yeah, sure form
Mm,
and adult form because we only got to see her
mhm,
as a kid. But I
yeah.
think she has the best design so like out of the new stuff we've seen.
Vi's betrothed was nicer for me. I like her lips. She has nice lips, but I like how
It's a close second.
yeah. At this point, everyone is super suspicious of Vishnu, so the unexpected would be that he's actually good. And he thinks so. The interesting takeaway for me was their life in the universe was going good until the Primevals showed up. It's like they come and bring trouble. I'll get to that in a second. The reason that I think this chapter was called "In My Delusions" is because of Manasa being retroactively deleted. Where it's
Yeah.
like sometimes I'll call someone a deviant, and they might take it the wrong way. But it's like I'm using the diction very literally. If 100 people, there's 100 people, and 99 of them do something, and you don't, you're the deviant. You deviated from the norm. So the fact that Anatta, like I'm not entirely sure that like there's a part of me like, was the Manasa thing real? Was that some possibility? Was Anatta always alone and he did something to like make himself whatever? I'm not sure, but like the way that I'm taking it for the time being, so I'm going with this train of thought is that literally because he would be the only literal living person that's not a primeval that knew that Manasa even ever existed. He'd be the delusional one because in no records of time and no part of the universe and no other person's mind, psyche, or soul or whatever ever knew this individual existed, thus making him a deviant, making him the delusional one. So that's how I was thinking. I know that was a bunch of a
No,
bunch of
yeah,
mental
I
gymnastics,
agree.
but that's how I took it. So I like love so I like love the title immediately when I thought about that. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's one of those things of I guess we can just go like a little bit into like the thing right now. Like I took it as like it really shocked me because I'm like the title destroyer really does come properly with this guy. The
Mhm.
fact that like it kind of reminds like the 3D 4D stuff, you know, like in comics and like things like that, where like four-dimensional beings that like are outside the bounds of like time and space and like they operate under different rules. But
Mhm.
like so it's like once he kills you, you're killed in every timeline throughout every time, and you just basically never existed.
It was even rewritten for have massive into Sagara, you know. So it's
Yeah.
like you're literally like the crazy one because no one else will believe that. You know what I'm saying? So you're the
Yes.
delusional one. I was like, that's crazy. What? How much must he suffer? Jesus Christ.
And and I took it because he got the time power. That's why he remembers. Because if he didn't have the time power, I would assume he wouldn't have remembered her at all.
Mm, I don't know if because he was there and he caught it, but that's interesting to think about.
That's how I look at it. Because I feel like it's one of those things I think it's one of those things I think Anata like was just one of those like his physical output was insane, right? Like he
Mhm.
was the strongest in the beginning just because of like his ability to like if he wanted to just destroy the universe like with like a wave of his hand, that might be an exaggeration, but he could. But I
Mhm.
think getting that time ability basically made him just like an entirely different being altogether, almost like a primeval.
So do you think that it he couldn't do it before? Like that wasn't in his I guess natural skill set until either Kali Vishnu taught him how to do it, or do you think he could always do it? He just didn't know how to. Is a question, I guess.
From the way it looks like to me, it looks like he was granted the ability.
Okay. Like
And
or
that's
like
why I was
or maybe
curious
like you're
about
you're it's okay, you could have this, you're worthy of it type of thing.
yeah, that's why I was but it seems like it was transferred. No, wait, no, I think she was still using the ability. I couldn't remember if dang, I have to relook. Did she lose the ability after Anata gained it?
No, but she told him not to do it because
Okay.
the god, I think one of the gods, well, first of all, she when the Primevals first showed up, she had like a visual reaction that he's never really seen, right? And one the god came in the cheerleader outfit, whatever, and was like, you think she's omniscient and omnipotent or whatever, and is all knowing. But what you don't know, she's going back in time constantly and rewriting and redoing stuff, which is why she comes across as this absolute wisdom, genius level being.
Yes.
And then he learned it, and then when he told her that, she told him not to do it. So I think they
Yeah.
both
Okay.
had the ability at the same time.
Okay. Because I think I took her not using the ability as like, oh, you're the champion of time now. Just don't do it because like it's just not worth it. But okay. So she still does have it. But I think it's one of those things of. I think what I was also curious about, the reason why I also think it's it was gifted, because I was like, I thought it was also gifted to her by the primevals, and and that's why she was like chosen or heralded as like kind of like the protector while they were gone.
Mhm.
So that's why I think it was granted. And to Keaton's point of what he just said, I thought that initially, but I actually still think that even if they didn't reincarnate Manasa into Manasavan and Sagara, I still think she would have been erased from the timeline altogether.
Mm.
I just think the reincarnation allowed them to just now exist as if they always did. But if they didn't reincarnate, I still genuinely think she would have just been gone from everything.
Oh, I
I
just
don't
remember
think
he
it would have
said that's
mattered.
interesting. Maybe Anata, if he went back as soon as she was killed, might have found Manasa, but since he changed her existence to the Master and Sagara, it was different. I really do think because Shiva did whatever he did, which he can't apparently he like can't spam. It's not something he could just do whenever he wants. I think that truly changed the complete existence of this being. I think
Yes, I
maybe if
agree.
Shiva, not Shiva, if Shiva just like killed them or whatever, or destroyed them in a very normal sense, I think it would have been a different story. Let me just go to the bottom real quick just so I can see what exactly how it was read. Wait, I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh, there we go. It loaded. Blah blah blah. What colors? What are air colors? Not to reveal. The universe slotting for fun. Nirvana could exist. Nasika. Oh, by the way, this killed me. 10 billion-year-old dinks. I'm like, what the fuck's a dink? It's a double income, no kids. I laughed so hard at that. I don't know why. That's quite hilarious. I'm gonna start calling people dinks. But no primeval gods to add to the concept of action so because they lived in a state between the first and second with 9 years and no children between them, the middle aren't human in the universe. What the fuck is the line I'm looking for? About Shiva. Someone asked the Shiva's question about something, something, something. I don't know. I can't find it right now, but when I find it, I'll bring it up. Because I remember them saying it wasn't something he could just do whenever he wants. It took some time for Nastica Society, Garuda, Manasa, whatever. But okay, why do you think Manasa had that reaction to him getting the power of the time travel? Is it because was it? Do you think it was like she just literally? I don't think it was a jealousy thing. I think it was because she knows like what it does to you.
Yeah, I
Because
think she's
like
protecting.
like he ended up being her literally. Like he ends up in her position. And he's constantly trying to
Yeah.
rewrite stuff. Like he's probably gone much further than she did. Because I remember those records of time periods when it's black, but they're all like ink of stuff happening over and over, or being redone or retried. Or
Well, it's
um,
arguably worse, right? Because
yes,
at least she had him that entire time.
that's true.
Now he has
Like
nobody.
somebody else who could truly understand him. I guess
Yeah.
in a sense, yeah. Ah, it's so sad. About sorry, I think they want the all time abilities. I don't know. I don't. I well, the cheerleader says you too could wield that power. So I don't know if that was granted again, but it depends. But hold on.
Seems granted.
About Mansa cigar mass events, I have this tidbit I stole from Reddit comment. Man slash Sa got divided into Manas, Vin, and Sa Gara. Their offspring spring's name is P PV Ingara. No trace of Masavins there. It's pretty obvious in Korean language. Not a, so I guess their names being split apart and blended together makes more sense in Korean. So fair enough. But I caught that though because what's JoJo does that to some degree too. Where like the Joe comes from Cujo, not from like Jonathan Joe Star. Like they changed it up too, and like so like I've seen that before, so I wasn't particularly lost. But that's a good tidbit. Thank you for that. Do you guys think
Uh,
the universe is devouring? Wait, do you guys think the universe devouring monster is a prototype Utah? Holy shit!
no, I didn't think that.
No, we don't. She knew that.
Because what was
What
the word they used? It was some yeah, it was set into
universe
motion in a
something something
distant
something.
past. I
Yeah.
took that as
Keep talking. I'm gonna tinkle real quick, but keep going.
okay. I took that as a fuck what's the word? As like a culmination of some fucked up like bits and pieces from the previous universe. In the same way we have still remnants and like those weird blue multi-odd monsters that we saw in D5. That's how I took it. I didn't take it as Utah because the Utah stuff seems to be purely more Cali. I guess the argument was, did Cali make this while the primevals were gone to kill her? Maybe. But I mean, if the prototype was already this strong that it could kill the universe, I mean that just I don't know. Already kind of like had the ability to succeed in something, I guess what would like you to be better at doing than this thing? But prototype Yuta was also set in motion a long time ago. That is very true. We don't know when. I don't.
All right,
We
but
only know that he was at least around
Mike,
at least 500 years ago, and
prototype
seemingly
Utah was
far
turned to motion
longer.
a long time ago, but if so, the blue monster shouldn't exist now. I saw someone saying the same image showed up when Kubera told Lee she wanted to die when not resurrected. Let me check here. I mean, it was defeated, so D version drop. Okay, all right. But okay, what's the next thing I wanted to touch on? But yeah, by the way, yeah. So yeah, I do think that she was telling him not to use it because she knew like what it does to you and how hard it is, I guess, to be in that position or whatnot. I don't think it was a jealousy thing. I want it for myself or blah 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 yada yada. So that's how I took it. But it is funny to me when they were recreating the soul. I did think it was Sagara. I didn't at the time put Mana from Masovins for to get together, but like I definitely thought it was Sagara, and it's so funny because
Really?
yeah, I don't know why. Like to me,
That was
I,
opposite for me.
oh okay, you know what? That's fair. That's fair. Like it ultimately ended up being a bit of both. The reason that I went to Sagara is because I always found their relationship weirdly contentious in the sense that like Anata's a good dude and he's not gonna act on those kind of things. But there was something between him and Sagara that's never sat right to me, and this to me gave me the context that made me understand why like he always seemed like he kept her like an arm distance away, because it's like I don't know if it's like he feels a weirdness or a shame when he sees her. Or sees like and thinks about what happened with his mate at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I never
Hmm.
really got that inclination with Masavin. So to me, this made sense. I ultimately just don't think he like was in love with her, and I don't remember she loved him like that, but she wanted to be his mate or whatever. But like, I don't know, it just made sense to me. And then she ended
You
up coming to King. So
you know what? You know what? I'm actually gonna go back. You know what? Actually, you guys I think are actually right. I think that is an actual thing for me. So you know what? I'll say this. I think I'm wrong, and the reason why I think I agree with you, Corey, kind of just uh made me think about it with like the whole point that they wanted to do was bring resurrect Anata for Yuta to I think oh no, it was to bring back Anata to kill Yuta to then reset Yuta and then Yuta destroys. But I think at the beginning of season 3 there's also that weird image of like Anata kind of being around. So there could be like an idea of like Yuta consuming Anata, infusing, becoming a stronger being in the same vein that this creature killed Manasa and became like a stronger being that was starting to destroy the universe. So actually, I think I was wrong. I think you guys are actually right. I think this might have been a prototype for Yuta.
mm. And it is interesting that like whatever that universe ending monster, it almost somewhat looked to me like it turned her into a chaos attribute a little bit, but I thought maybe that was just like the colors maybe playing couple of tricks on me, but she did look kind of crazy. And then she turned into that fucking dragon thing. I was like, that's wild because like there's one panel where she opens her mouth, and to me it looks similar to a panel I recall with Yuta. This around the time he has that thing over him. and there's like a moment where like I think he's about to lose control. Like it just felt like a parallel to that. But that's one of those things where like I could be remembering that panel differently in my head. But I guess the question that I had in some degree was, do you think Anata could have stopped her? I don't know if Anata could have saved her and brought her back to sanity, but I like that's why I asked the question with the power scaling earlier. Because like did Shiva did she rampage for so long and then or was it maybe like a thing where like Anata didn't want to do it because of the relationship they had, so she was like, all right.
I think Nata like didn't know how to properly like deal with the situation.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it was like he didn't want to kill.
Or do you think that maybe she got stronger when she fused or whatever with the beast or whatever the case was, or lost her
I
mind? So
think
maybe
that's
she was even
true.
stronger. So at that point,
I think
maybe
that's
she,
true,
yeah.
but I don't think she was stronger than. I'm always if we ever talking about who went in the fight with the Nat and anybody else, I'm
I
always
feel
gonna
you.
bet on the
I feel
Nat.
you. I feel you. If I'm a betting man, if I have to bet on one person to fade somebody in this universe for my life, I gotta pick him. So yeah.
And
This
then,
chapter is crazy, and we have two more, right? This is the one. This is the 3-parter, so this is gonna be interesting. Go
oh, this
ahead.
is a three-parter. Okay, I was gonna say, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about. This is again why I don't think that this is an innate time ability, because every Nastica only has two attributes. Uh, so I think it would be weird if two Nasticas just are the full exception to the rule and would have three in time. But even then, time's never really classified as a separate attribute for them. It's just an ability they have. And the only beings that have these abilities are prime. And the fact that a primeval went to in front of uh fucking an addict and was telling about it, and from the implication seemed that I could give you this ability, it just seems far more plausible that they were gifted this ability rather than having it innately.
Yeah. By the way, I found the comment I was looking for. It was actually the Kurigam comment, not in the Kurigam's blog section, but it's the transcendental erasing existence cannot be overused since the conditions to use it are tricky.
It's like fathomless fire,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, just
I
use
think
it.
it's the same. I don't think fathomless fire can be used indiscriminately. I think there's like a
Mm.
specific like requirement that Vritra has to do before he can just body people. The same with Yama. Well, Yama's is that he can't use it on gods and beings with no lifespan. Otherwise, he would one shot everything.
Yep. Also, when Manasa was destroyed, the universe was said to be 10 billion years old. In the current story, the universe is less than 10 billion years old in the present. Hmm. Weirdly thought to that. Speaking of color, I wish Korea had given us color drawings of these characters, at least one for reference. We might get one later. You never know. I didn't think of full combination of them. Anata might have been stronger, but he can't kill his love. Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking in my head. But I I was just surprised to not see him like even just at all. Like, what are you doing? Stop! And like like I don't know, big snake mode. I don't know, like so I just didn't see it at all. Like it almost looks to me like it happened. She was like, "All right, I'm not even about to deal with this. Goodbye," and then went back to wherever he was doing. Like like I want to know if there was like, did she rampage long enough, and because nothing happened, he's like, I'll do it myself. Thanos type beat, and it came through. I don't know, but this is a really good start. I want to see what's gonna happen, how it's gonna continue, if we get any more tidbits about Manasa at all. But it was cold, man. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was good. This was dope.
Someone brought up a good point, but like the fact that Manasa and Zagara were a couple, is that like
Self cessed, yeah. I saw that.
is that yeah? What is this? How does that work?
I don't know. Do they? What if they gave birth to Manasa?
They did. They
Manasa?
do have kids.
But no, I'm saying they gave birth to Manasa. That'd have been funny. Like
Uh,
they give birth to the original form.
to their strongest
Yeah,
form.
yeah. I don't know. I also want to know. Oh, actually, no. They took parts of the name. I think they split it and stuff too. I was gonna say maybe is that original name somewhere in the ether? I don't think. I think they changed the composition of the name or something. But
Oh yeah, they did actually separate their name in that. Yeah.
yeah, dang. And then like one of them
May,
supposed to look more like her, but doesn't have her power. Am I supposed to have more of her power? Doesn't look like her. So that's like the trade off, I guess. So
it's possible that Brahma could, because Brahma was the one that like kind of helped do this, and creation is the opposite of destruction. Because Brahma's also the type where I think they say like Brahma likes to like only like make sure things even out. Like she doesn't go above and beyond to like make
mhm.
things unfair. So who's to say that Brahma couldn't have like fully resurrected her, and this is just like her like thing of like I'll help you, but I'm not gonna help you.
Mm, I don't know. I ah drama. Oh, that just reminded me. I have to go through that in defense of Brahma Reddit post. Definitely do that. Maybe I'll do that next week.
No, you don't.
It's content, bro. We
You
need that
don't.
content, baby. We need it. Um, not to seeing myself in a cigar get together, think it's yeah. I just wonder. This is like I guess sometimes you got to
Well,
beat your meat, flick the bean,
well, they
flick your own
didn't they
bean.
only get together? Didn't they only get together right after he died?
I actually don't remember.
Because Manasa was king at the time when she got together with him.
Oh, I think you might be right. Maybe.
So I mean, I guess he would have never saw it because he was
Yeah.
always only pining after him when he was alive.
That's the typical with the names I gave you. It's the parts of the name. Yeah. I know. The Pingaris fight. I wouldn't have known about that, but that's interesting. Why were the Primevals hiding for so long? Because after billions, and then like, I don't know what about these Primevals, man. We might have to get the ability to erase existence and get them the f out of here. All right, let the universe go the way that it's supposed to go, and if it dies, it dies. You know. Brigham said she won't
I've
reveal
been.
Nessa's hair and eye color because there are people who want to believe in their predictions. I think that's a stupid reason. Yeah, I do too. I do too. But
I
oh,
think she just looks like an Ada in color scheme. Honestly,
I
that's how
guess
I initially
for
thought.
me, it's not that important as if I at least get like a really good look at you. And while it might be in her like watercolored, whatever. I know I always use sepia. I know they did not always sepia, but sepia is like one of the. I don't know that many colors. I don't like 4 colors that are like not like red, blue, yellow. I got what? I got magenta. I got sepia. I got like teal, burgundy. I don't know. Like I don't have any. I don't know colors that aren't just like blue, yellow, red, green, purple. So
Violet, purple's not a real color.
that's crazy. Oh,
The
violet.
concept created by Crayola. The actual color is violet.
It's a psyop.
Yeah,
That's been my thing. I've been calling so many things psyops recently. I don't know why. It's funny. I'm like that's a psyop. I call the food pyramid a psyop. Kuragos. Oh yeah, I got that. Let me be a solid magic user. I'll get this world right. I'll get the world right. Actually, I don't want to do that. I just want to be left alone. Lots of people get disappointed by OG Aravata. I like Aravata, but
really?
like that made the character a little more interesting to me. But I never disliked Aravata because of the bubbly personality from the first time I saw like them and like I think the other side of the story, Yaksha and stuff. I was like chilling. Unless I'm thinking of somebody else. Am I thinking of Ravana? I feel like I was confused then. I don't know why. Anyways. When Anata died, Cigar was already dating Masavins, with Suki stayed in female form for Masavins to become the king, so Cigar didn't break up with him, female form. There you go. But yeah, that's the chapters, man. Those are the 4 chapters.
Mm.
First and second, love letter, Dawn of the Gods, and In My Delusions Part 1. So we're gonna get In My Delusions Part 2 and 3, and we'll see how that ends up and see if it ties in all into some main stuff. But I actually, were you genuinely shocked to see us come back to Anata stuff after kind of having the whole Anata arc? I was actually. I didn't think we are
Yeah,
gonna maybe to focus on him, especially in the side stories for any given amount of time. But I like that we're here. He's actually a very intriguing character and tragic in his own right. So not in his own right, he's a tragic character, but
no, he's the
yeah,
goat.
but he's great,
Him,
man.
him, him, and his wife just going around beating the shit out of people and establishing order. That's
Just
raw.
just like uprising, no uprising, stopped, uprising, quelled.
I
Just
I also
uh,
really like the explanation she gives at the end of the book of like how Manasa like kind of went around like how she used the time travel ability to like I can't like preemptively kill people. Like it's she can't make it seem like she's preemptively killing people.
mhm.
Where like she's like, oh, Nasica kills somebody, she goes back in time and kills the Nasica before it kills someone else, because then people would just think she's crazy. So she had to like properly plan out like, okay, I have to let it get to a
She was
certain
methodical
point.
about how she did it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if it
which
wasn't
which
Nada might have just gone back and just blown up everyone.
yeah. She had the finesse and the grace. There's a panel that I was trying to find. I don't remember if it was in this chapter, but there's a panel where like I feel like they were talking about like Sura's like attacking people and attacking stuff and then being unhinged. And the silhouette to me and with like the like evil twinkle in the eye, I'm like, what? That looked like Ashura. What Ashura holds on demon time? There it is. I found it. I think no matter how hard a leader strives for peace, to be fair, it's impossible for there to be not be any dissatisfaction. And so the number of those who broke away from the snake who had reigned for a long time, blah blah yada yada. I'm just like, this one panel here just killed me because I'm like, bro, why he always on demon time? just trying to fight everybody. Just to be, I love him. I think he's gonna be so interesting when I fully dive into my reread. But yeah, I was shocked for us to come back here and for the not to full circle and stuff. But I really like the idea that he had a mate and a mentor at the beginning like that, though. I don't know why. Well, I know why to some degree. Like, I like the idea of him being this blank sponge snake that absorbed all of his kind of ideology and beliefs and philosophies from her, but ended up becoming a like almost a worse version, more tragic version of her because the amount of times he time travels and tries to change events. I just thought it was poetic. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also like, I was also interested by the clan fact that they didn't have clans in the beginning. They were just kind of just vibing, and
Mm-hmm.
they kind of just couldn't like they're like, oh, I guess we lucky enough for like we can just be the clan, which then kind of goes again. I guess like, did the gods like do clans operate in the same way of names? Where like you like have to literally get rid of like your clan name and attach it. That's what gets you like to be like classified as like underneath it because like it seemed to be an actual process when fuck what Kadru was doing it. Like he was actually part and it was actually affecting his mental state.
Yeah.
And even this, because I was always curious about Vasuki has specifically been mentioned to look like a dragon rather than a snake because he's like a nine-headed dragon-looking creature. But he's part of the snakes. So I'm curious if like he
Yamato no
technically actually
Orochi.
might be more like a Vritra, but just off rip he was like, no, I just want to chill with the snake. So he went with the snake clan early on.
Not
So they
impossible.
always just thought he was
Now
a
that we know you
snake.
can sign contracts and
Sign contracts.
and do trades. So or let go of free agents. Like I go where you want to go. So it's not impossible. I guess unless it's like a because like sometimes sometimes when I see stuff like that, it may look in similar form to another animal stuff, but there could be some mythical creature we're not
Yeah.
considering. Like
Cause yeah,
I guess for
Manus.
some
Oh,
reason
go
I
on.
could think of like the Yamata no Orochi. I know it has more. I think it's 7 heads. I remember. I think Yamata only has 8,
8.
but like the 7 and then the one big one at the bottom. Typically is how
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
works.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah.
That's the first thing
All
that I ran my one
Hydras.
half. Oh, yeah, Hydra is the one from where the heads grow back every time you cut one off.
Yep.
So yeah.
The Lithican, because it's from Lithican or whatever, Lithicanian Hydra. I think that's the
Mhm.
name, full name, some shit. Yeah, and then even Manasa, who, as they said, could have been in like 3 different clans. I guess she looked like some form of like water serpent dragon. Because she could have
Mm.
been Ganhavra or Vitra or Nada.
Yeah, which will
So
never
some
know.
long water like serpent.
Well, we'll never know because she never existed.
Okay.
We're delusional. We're delusional. Who are you guys talking about? I don't remember. I don't recall them. I only know Sagara and Manasavin. All right. Who these people y'all making up? Your psychological transcendental will not work on me. All right. You got any final words?
No.
I'm like I actually don't have to do some of the things I have to do later today. So like I'm kind of chilling for the time being. So like I'm just gonna play Chain Echoes. So I might just have it on stream. But like I'm chilling though, so I'm not really going anywhere. But yeah, just like how Shiva never existed. Nah, Shiva exists now. Patreon gang, shout out to the Patreon gang, yes sir. Shout out to my certified BAM lovers. You know I appreciate y'all deeply. Gotta give a big shout out to the Priest of Fire. That's the real CBL Brilliant gang. You already know what it is, but especially gonna give a huge thank you to my tier 3s, the 5th Zen Gods. Shout out to Zodiac, Sonny Katapali, Simi, Silo, Shoddy to your body, Scobe, Revenant, Lucky Roo, Lazy Dragon, Chris, Johnny Rogers, Jacob Holland, Irene Sharda, Fitz, Tris, and my boy Abdel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.